What I say is true. Anyone can cook, but only the fearless can be great.
The implication here is that art can change people. Like Remy's whole philosophy is my cooking can change the world.
Surprise me!
Really loving and accepting yourself is everything. It's foundational for mental health and emotional health and relationship health, because you find your people when you know who you are. Saying, I'm here to create, I'm here to put something out into the world. If you have that in you, don't let anybody tell you you can't.
Meaningful art comes from anywhere and often from where you least expect it.
Hey,
I learned things.
Student has become the master.
No. Still need therapy. Hello and welcome to Cinema Therapy. I'm Alan Seawright, a professional filmmaker who needs therapy and has gotten therapy, and it's helped a lot, but there's always more work to be done. I'm joined by my co-host,
Jonathan Decker, licensed therapist who loves movies. What are we doing today?
I would like to talk to you about the emotional ramifications of piloting a human mech suit using hair controls.
Okay, so it's either Ratatouille or Raccacoonie.
I'm begging you. No!
Take your pick. Both good.
Ratatouille.
We're talking about Ratatouille today.
Yes.
I'm maybe alone on Weirdo Island with this one. This might be my favorite Pixar film.
Whoa, really? Mm-hmm. That's swinging for the fences.
I know there's a certain percentage of people who cannot stand this movie because rats.
Rats.
Also the French.
Listen, we hate to be rude, but we're French.
What I'd like to take a look at actually is the thesis statement of the film.
Food always comes to those who love to cook.
Brad Bird in this movie is telling the story of being an artist. Obviously for him it's filmmaking, for Remy it's cooking, for Linguini it's hilarious pratfalls.
Yeah.
But he's an artist at it.
Enter this world.
And I think there's an interesting examination here in, like, what does that mean? What are you willing to sacrifice for your art? Is it worth it?
Yeah.
And is it worth stepping on people, sometimes literally, and driving them using their hair in order to get what you want?
Okay, I would say probably not, but depends on the person, really.
Let's figure it out.
All right.
So what's wrong with having highly developed senses?
Patton Oswalt.
What's going on here?
Turns out that funny smell was rat poison. Suddenly Dad didn't think my talent was useless. I was feeling pretty good about my gift. Until Dad gave me a job. Clean. That's right, cleanerific. Poison checker. Cleanerino. Close to godliness, which means clean. You know, cleanliness is close to... Never mind, move on.
I do wonder with the close to godliness line if that was scripted or if that was a Patton Oswalt, like,
Riff.
he's
and
just
there's-
riffing and
Yeah.
they're like, oh, hey, we hired Patton Oswalt. Let's keep that.
So why'd you put this scene in here? What did you want me to talk about?
Oh, no.
That's it, I quit.
Basically, what I wanted to focus on here is Remy is having a tough time with his dad. His dad doesn't value what he thinks is important. Like, for Remy, creating the art of food is like the most important thing in his life. And his dad is like, who cares? Until he figures out, this is a way that can be useful. I'm sure you see this a ton in family therapy where people love each other and just value different things and are incapable of communicating those differing values or not assigning them to a person as like, you care about a thing and that is what you are.
And we're dads. All parents bring their own values to parenting. The things that they want out of life, the things that they want out of their kids' life. The real trick is valuing your child more than valuing your values. And it's not to say instead of your values, but recognizing that you're just a steward of the child as they figure out who they want to be. And it's just your job to teach them integrity and decency and kindness. But what path they take is out of your hands.
Sure.
Or if you take it into your hands, it's a surefire recipe for, family therapy. So those of you who do this to your kids, thanks, because that's how I feed my family. Mess up your kids so I can feed mine.
Obviously, it's very different in a friend or a sibling relationship or like coworkers, colleagues. So what does that look like when you just do not share the same values, but you still need to like get along?
It really comes down to honoring, right? And I think that's the issue with Remy's dad right now is he doesn't honor what Remy's passionate about, who Remy is. He only values like, and I can't blame him. They're rats. They're fighting for survival, right?
Yeah.
Do or die. And so Remy's dad is all about, I have to look after this entire group, and anything that doesn't help us to survive, it's like, that's nice. But talking about following your passions is great. But when you're just struggling to get bread on the table and keep the lights on, that's what we got to focus on. And for a lot of people, that's where it comes from. It doesn't come from my values trump your values. It's you're in, I want personal fulfillment. And I'm just trying to keep everyone alive. And I think that's the disconnect for them right now. Are you deeply in debt because your line of frozen burritos went belly up or any other financial difficulty?
This episode is sponsored by PDS Debt Solutions.
PDS Debt sushi rolls all of your payments into one low monthly payment.
I don't know if it's sushi or not.
No, it's not, but your debts are all rolled up.
PDS Debt Solutions could have really helped me when I first got into filmmaking and absolutely torpedoed my credit score because I thought, hey, I work in movies now, I'm gonna have jobs regularly.
Anyone can cook, but not anyone can direct.
PDS Debt has customized options for anyone struggling with credit cards, personal loans, collections, or medical bills.
Anyone with $10,000 or more in eligible debt qualifies, and there is no minimum credit score required. You can save thousands in interest and fees and pay off your debt in a fraction of the time.
PDS Debt is currently offering a free debt analysis. It only takes 30 seconds to complete. Open a tab or something. You can do it.
Head over to pdsdebt.com/cinema to get your free debt assessment today. Can't even look at it.
If you are hungry, go up and look around, Remy. Why do you wait and mope?
Well, I've just lost my family. All my friends. Probably forever.
How do you know?
Well, You are an illustration. Why am I talking to you?
Oh, you just lost your family, all your friends. You are lonely.
Yeah, well, you're dead.
But that is no match for wishful thinking. If you focus on what you've left behind, you will never be able to see what lies ahead. Now go up and look around.
Who knew Brad Garrett could do French accent so well?
Or at least cartoon French accent.
Or at least, yeah, not real French accent, but...
Have you ever come across inspiration versus hallucination? Because I can tell you, I often can't tell what's happening to me.
In family movies, hallucination is almost always, this is a good thing. This is my imagination coming to life and it's fun and playful. In real life, if you're seeing something that's not actually happening and someone's talking to you that's not actually there, that's called psychosis. When I first got out of graduate school, I spent a few years at a community mental health agency for people on Medicaid, and I worked with some people who were schizophrenic.
Seriously mentally ill.
Yeah, and it was interesting because sometimes the psychosis didn't seem to have a rhyme or reason. And other times the psychosis like this was kind of an inner voice made manifest type thing, where it's like, well, this is what I need to be thinking. This is healing. This is here for a reason. So, is Remy psychotic? Yes. But like most geniuses, there's a bit of madness there, and it leads to his best work. So I don't know what to tell you.
We've got a new theory. The entirety of the movie Ratatouille is actually the fevered hallucinations of a slowly starving rat.
The thing I do like about this, one take is that it's a hallucination. The other is that it's an artistic representation of the people who inspire us become the voice in our head. And how often do I hear my mother? It's basically my mother and Obi-Wan Kenobi. Like, those are the two voices that I listen to a lot in my life. And I think this is just kind of like the animated visualization of that concept. So maybe he's not a psychotic rat who's starving to death.
Maybe not.
Remy, separated from his family,
Finding
reunited.
someone to replace you for Poison Checker has been a disaster. Nothing's been poisoned, thank God, but it hasn't been easy. You didn't make it easy.
Well,
I know.
comes down to just
I am sorry,
what Dad
Dad.
values.
Well, the important thing is that you're home.
Yeah, well, about that.
You look thin. Why is that? A shortage of food or a surplus of snobbery? Yeah. It's tough out there in the big world all alone, isn't it?
Sure, but it's not like I'm a kid anymore.
Hey,
I
boy, what's up?
can take care of myself. I have found a nice spot not far away, so I'll be able to visit often.
Nothing like a cold splash of reality to make you visit?
I will, I promise. Often.
Well, you're not staying?
No, it's not a big deal, Dad. You didn't think I was gonna stay forever, did you? I mean, eventually a bird's gotta leave the nest.
We're not birds. We're rats. We don't leave our nests. We make them bigger.
Well, maybe I'm a different kind of rat.
Maybe you're not a rat at all.
Maybe that's a good thing.
Hey, the band's really on tonight, huh?
Rats. All we do is take, Dad. I'm tired of
Jono
taking.
popping up in the middle of a conversation.
Add something to this world.
You're talking like a human.
Who are not as bad as you say.
Oh, yeah? What makes you so sure?
Oh, man.
I've been able to observe them at a close-ish sort of range.
Yeah? How close?
Close enough, and they're, not so bad.
I live in a guy's hair? What?
Come with me. I got something I want you to see.
The guy made me a matchbox
You know,
bed,
I'm gonna stay here.
and I live in his hat.
So this feels for a lot of you like Thanksgiving dinner. Trying to have a civil conversation, but you see the world differently, generation gap, values gap, worldview gap, and then the one family member who's trying in vain to be the peacemaker. And yes, you correctly surmise that that would be me.
I've seen it happen.
Yeah. The struggle with perspective taking is that we assume there can only be one person who's right or one person whose view is valid.
Right.
Or, in this case, one rat. And the fact is, they're both right. Remy's dad is going to show him why he's so scared of humans.
Yeah.
And yet Remy has had an experience with Linguini of really bonding with and seeing a different side. And they're both trying to get the other to just come over to their side instead of budging and finding middle ground.
And, Remy's dad is trying to take care of the entire colony. Like, he's all about, we're building a bigger nest, which is what rats do. He's not wrong.
But Remy doesn't want to be a rat, right? He wants to be something different. He wants to do his own thing. I think it's telling that the dad gives Remy a hard time for leaving. You didn't make it easy. What did Remy do? He did his job well, and then he got separated from his family. He didn't do a damn thing wrong. His dad
Well, he did go grab a cookbook.
Yeah, that's true, from the lady with the shotgun. Yeah, that was intense. I love that scene. But his dad's blaming him for doing a good job, right? Because then when you left, like, what were we supposed to do? We became too dependent on you. This is the thing with parenting. You can't become dependent on your kids. That's not the role. The role is to raise them so that they can go out. And if they leave and you don't know what to do without them, it's a sign that things were off, right? They weren't the way they needed to be.
So what I'm seeing here is one of Gottman's 4 horsemen.
Ah.
I've been paying attention. We've only been doing this 4 years. I learned 2 things already. Contempt, right?
Yeah.
Remy's dad is contemptful. He's literally just making fun of him.
This attitude of superiority, yeah. Which in turn, Remy is following that with defensiveness. And
Well,
round
yeah.
and round we go. Look at you.
I learned things.
Student has become the master.
No. Still need therapy.
We're here.
It's a pretty garish image.
Take a good long look, Remy. Now this is what happens when a rat gets a little too comfortable.
Yeah, that's what makes it bad, is we're seeing dead rat
The
faces.
world we live in belongs to the enemy. We must live carefully. We look out for our own kind, Remy. When all is said and done, we're all we've got.
No.
What?
No. Dad, I don't believe it. You're telling me that the future can only be more of this?
This is the way things are. You can't change nature.
Change is nature, Dad.
Whoa.
The part that we can influence.
Both right.
And it starts when we decide.
From their own perspectives.
With luck, forward.
What a well-written scene.
Yeah. It's like that Brad Bird guy knows his way around a story.
He was cranking out some bangers.
Like, in a row, The Iron Giant, The Incredibles, Ratatouille, Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol.
And then Incredibles 2. And as you're saying, they're both right. And that's what we need to take into account when we're trying to find common ground, is people don't arrive at their conclusions for nothing. Oftentimes, the conclusions they've arrived at are blown out of proportion or twisted by the people they're listening to, or they're not taking into account the complete picture or all the possibilities.
Yep.
But the father's fear of humans is justified. I mean, there it is.
And Remy's pointing out that, no, this is not the way it has to be. I am creating something with my best friend Linguini, the human mecha. The implication here is that art can change people. Like, Remy's whole philosophy is my cooking can change the world. His dad hasn't experienced that, so he's saying it can't. And from his experience, he's not wrong. But Remy, he's already changing the world.
So how would I advise them in family therapy? If they had this conversation in my office in front of me, I would recommend just like, hey, I think you both made some really strong points. I'm going to encourage you to go and just think on what the other person has said. And I want you to think not how you can shut it down or prove it wrong.
How can you take it in?
How can you take it in? And then come back to our next session. So this is a beautifully written scene and really powerful moment of Remy standing for what he's experienced and what he's all about, but doing so respectfully.
Little chef. Little chef.
Oh, is this
hey,
after
little
Linguini
chef.
betrays him and he's
I
mad?
thought you went back to the apartment. Then when you weren't there, I don't know. It didn't seem right to leave things the way that we did. So, look, I don't want to fight. I've been under a lot of, pressure. A lot has changed in not very much time, I'm suddenly a Gusto, and I gotta be a Gusto, People will be disappointed.
It's Remy's brother.
Weird. I've never disappointed anyone before because nobody's ever expected anything of me. And the only reason anyone expects anything from me now is because of you. I haven't been fair to you. You've never failed me, and I should never forget that. You've been a good friend, the most honorable friend a guy could ever have. What's going on? Hey, you're stealing food? What? How could you? I thought you were my friend. I trusted you. Get out, you and all your rat buddies, and don't come back, or I'll treat you the way restaurants are supposed to treat pests.
There's so much in this scene, but first of all, can we talk about...
Do you want to talk about the tonal shifts?
No, what I want to talk about first and foremost is how you can see the individual grapes in the brother's stomach, like in his stomach lining.
I want to talk about the tonal shifts that this scene pulls off, which is there's actually two sources of tension in this scene. The one source of tension is, are the rats going to get caught? But what builds that tension and makes it so much stronger is the second source of tension, which is you want these two to make up. Linguini is having this very emotional scene that is effective and affecting. Remy is in the middle of a heist scene. He's like, oh no, how do I keep him from seeing all the rats that are hiding on each individual black square?
And why is Remy in the middle of a heist scene? Because he felt betrayed by Linguini, and in a very petty manner, because Linguini was petty towards him, so Remy's gonna be petty back. Fine, we're gonna steal the food. But now here comes Linguini being accountable and apologizing and giving Remy all the credit for his success, and Remy's like, oh crap.
And in two shots, we get to see the dad's opinion completely change.
Yeah.
We cut to him twice while Linguini is apologizing, and you can see him softening and learning, oh, hey, maybe I was wrong and maybe Remy was right. And then there's a rat who turns into a bunch of grapes, and he falls and a cheese wheel lands on him, and he turns into a grape machine gun.
And the noise he makes.
And it all works.
Yeah.
Well, you got me. By all accounts, it makes sense.
And you have Linguini doing what a lot of people do with apologies, which is they dance around it. He starts by trying to justify, I've been under a lot of stress, I've been under a lot of pressure. And then he finally kind of gets to where he needed to be, which is the only reason people expect anything of me is because of you. And I shouldn't have treated you that way. It's so human. It's such a well-written piece because a character like Linguini, he fumbles.
He's not bold enough to walk
Yeah.
in and say what he feels. He never has been able.
No, he never has been. So he has to dance around it until he finally like summons the courage to just be accountable. And the moment he does, he gets pelted in the back of the head with a bunch of grenades.
He gets so close to nailing it, and then it all gets stripped away because Brad Bird is a genius.
So, we have given up.
Why do you say that?
We are in a cage, inside the car trunk, awaiting a future in frozen food products.
No, I'm the one in a cage. I've given up. You are free.
I am only as free as you imagine me to be. As you are.
Oh, please. I'm sick of pretending. I pretend to be a rat for my father. I pretend to be a human through Linguini. I pretend you exist so I have someone to talk to. You only tell me stuff I already know. I know who I am. Why do I need you to tell me? Why do I need to pretend?
Ah, but you don't, Remy. You never did.
That's kind of the story of growing up, figuring out who you are and quitting pretending to be what you think you should be, or what society thinks you should be, or what you think society thinks you should be.
In the movie Rocky Balboa, Rocky's opponent, his trainer tells him the only respect that matters in this damn world is self-respect. And what's telling about this scene to me is Remy was chasing his father's approval.
Yep.
And chasing Linguini's approval. And what Gusteau was telling him is you never needed to pretend for anybody. You just needed to give yourself permission to be you. Really loving and accepting yourself is everything. It's foundational for mental health and emotional health and relationship health, because you find your people when you know who you are. And when you like who you are and when you accept who you are. And when you don't accept who you are, that's when you're scrambling to get, will this person accept me? As children, we seek it from our parents. We seek that approval. We seek that approval. And part of becoming an adult is I'm parenting myself.
Right.
I'm steering the ship. I'm on my own head, pulling my own hair, cooking my own food.
That's right, Jono.
Folks, you can get a commercial-free director's cut episode that is so much longer and so much more in-depth with Alan's filmmaking insights and so much behind-the-scenes goodness on this movie.
More rats. This movie is so great at having all these parallel storylines that interweave with each other and inform each other. So we're talking about his personal relationships. This is also his relationship to his art. He begins by exploring cooking just to like explore this new thing that he found. And then he is in a position where he's chasing the approval of society, the restaurant patrons, and then critics. And then the big stress that's coming up in this scene is he has to chase the approval of Anton Ego, the most dangerous food critic in all of Paris. What he decides to do is just be true to himself. He's not being true to Anton Ego. He's not being true to anything else. He's decided who he is and what he wants to be.
Yeah.
And he creates his own art. And that's what resonates with Ego.
Dad, I don't know what to say.
I was wrong about your friend. And about you.
I don't want you to think I'm choosing this over family. I can't choose between two halves of myself.
I'm not talking about cooking. I'm talking about guts. This really means that much to you?
He's finally connecting what he values with what Remy values. He's not saying, I value what you value. He's saying, I understand the way that you're doing it is like what I do.
Yeah.
Stop that health inspector!
Delta team, go, 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 go! The rest of you stay and help Remy!
Well, you make such a great point, which is that as passionate as I feel about what I love, which is taking care of this family, I'm not passionate about cooking, I'm not passionate about food and all the different flavors, but I understand passion.
And fighting for it, right?
And fighting for what you love.
Guts.
Yeah. That's the significance of the question. It really matters that much to you. And that's beautiful parenting, but not just parenting. That's beautiful working as part of a team. That's beautiful being a friend to somebody. Listen, what matters to you may not matter to me, but you matter to me, so now this matters to me. And that's love. That's any loving relationship.
The following day, his review appears.
In many ways, the work of a critic is easy. We risk very little, yet enjoy a position over those who offer up their work and themselves to our judgment. We thrive on negative criticism, which is fun to write and to read.
This is one of my favorite monologues in cinema history.
Critics must face is that in the grand scheme of things, the average piece of junk is probably
Did you ever notice that his typewriter is a skull?
Designating it so. But there are times when a critic truly risks something, and that is in the discovery and defense of the new. The world is often unkind to new talent, new creations. The new needs friends. Last night I experienced something new. An extraordinary meal from a singularly unexpected source. To say that both the meal and its maker have challenged my preconceptions about fine cooking is a gross understatement. They have rocked me to my core. In the past, I have made no secret of my disdain for Chef Gusteau's famous motto, "Anyone can cook," but I realize only now do I truly understand what he meant. Not everyone can become a great artist, but a great artist can come from anywhere. It is difficult to imagine more humble origins than those of the genius now cooking at Gusteau's, who is, in this critic's opinion, nothing less than the finest chef in France. I will be returning to Gusteau soon, hungry for more.
One of the sort of animating philosophies of Brad Bird's life is that true art and passion can change the world, and true art, meaningful art, comes from anywhere and often from where you least expect it. That is a theme in The Iron Giant. It is a huge theme in The Incredibles. I mean, The Incredibles is all about let the artist paint. Don't put restrictions on people who want to change the world and make it better.
Not everyone can become a great artist, but a great artist can come from anywhere. There's so much cultural discussion and vitriol over woke versus unwoke, and making room at the table for people of color, for people, for women, for non-binary people, for LGBT people. And that's the thing, is we deprive ourselves of the Remys of the world when we say, well, here's who can and can't tell us a story, or here's who can and cannot create for us. And so making room for everybody else only increases the flavor palette of the experience, and that's a wonderful thing. And when it comes to Remy, not only being given permission by his father to do so, or Linguini to do so, but him giving himself permission to do so. Saying, I'm here to create. I'm here to put something out into the world. That's what he says to his dad. I want to contribute to the world. I want to add to the world. If you have that in you, don't let anybody tell you can't. If someone tells you can't, just go around them. Find a different path. And to your point about stepping on people, well, if they're like the little guy, go ahead and step on him. I don't feel bad when anything bad happens to him. He had it coming. He's a jerk.
He definitely had it coming. And all the bad stuff that happens to him was very funny.
Who cooks the ratatouille? I demand to know!
The most beautiful representation of what you're saying there is, at the end of this, Remy is choosing his own path. He's not going with Linguini. He's not going with his dad.
Oh, and his dad respects it.
And then he walks away from the restaurant, and we get to see him leaving the restaurant, and then the light goes out. It's all about he's chosen his own path, which is, I'm going to be the artist that creates food. And referencing what he said earlier, he's moving forward. So until next time,
I am a figment of your imagination.
If I don't love it, I don't swallow. And watch movies.
Shout out to our patrons who get a bunch of exclusive bonus content, stuff made exclusively just for them. Folks like
Amy.
That was okay. Boo Shalala. Boom Shaka.
Shlaha?
Boom Shaka Boom.
Raushan Kaseyeva.
Peter Anderson.
And Dean Weemies.